This is the mindset shift that happens. When you create a premium level course, you are helping people who have the means and ability to pay you that price point. But then you get to create other opportunities and things for people who maybe are not in a position to pay that price point yet. And I think both are okay. Hey guys, it's Dr. Sonia here with Jump First. I've helped hundreds of creative entrepreneurs and business owners to take back their free time, generate additional revenue, and celebrate while living that work from anywhere lifestyle through creating online courses and digital education. So I'm super excited that you are here. Say it with me. Done is better than perfect. Master one thing at a time. Practice makes better. And this has to work. Right? Let's get it. Sonia here with Jump First, and today is an awesome episode per usual, okay? Welcome to In the Arena. I'm very excited. So we're teaching tonight, okay? I've been teaching all week. We taught on Tuesday. Today is another quick lesson regarding your freedom, okay? That comes from creating when it comes to your premium courses. If you are new here and you have no idea what this channel is about or what these episodes are about, we talk all things premium courses. We talk entrepreneurship, life advice, and stuff. Okay, things that you can apply practically, not only to get your premium course business done, but also to sustain it, okay? Because I am not about creating courses, creating impact that is not sustainable. And so this is one of the reasons that we go all in, okay, on our dreams, on what it is that we're doing. And I actually teach from my real life. And so in the arena, it's time to get visible. It's time to get a little vulnerable. I appreciate the positivity already in the room. Okay, I see the reactions. I appreciate you. Hit the like button for me so that we can continue to spread this message globally, reach more people with positivity, people who are looking to achieve dreams, not be judged in places, okay, for their desires, for what it is that they actually want. And that's one of the reasons I created In the Arena with Dr. Sonia. It's also one of the reasons I created my business, because I was tired of being a high performer myself, high achiever myself, and having to kind of like withhold, like dim my gifts a little bit, if you will, and kind of like hold back like my ability to, and my willingness and my desire to work hard, okay, to get stuff done. And it feels so effortless. So I'm super excited that you are here in the arena with me on today. If you are returning, welcome back. I see my mama in the chat as well. Hello. And my dad is probably there watching too. I appreciate y'all so much. Kat, also, I appreciate you moderating the chat, so thank you so much for that. All right, let's get into it. If you are returning, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome, okay, to the arena. You are certainly welcome here. It's all love all around, all right? Now, I want to get into this real quick because I've been talking about it all day, like this necessity for creating in order to have the freedom that you want. So less consuming, more creating. I talk about this all the time. I especially say it all the time to my clients and students and mentees. So if you're watching this, then you already know. Okay. We create more than we consume. What ends up happening, pro tip for your courses, as you start to market your courses, you start to utilize or use social media, as I say, and instead of consuming it, right? So as a consumer, you'll go through social media. Sometimes I get caught up in the cycle. I took note of this the other day. I was talking to a friend or an associate. All right. I don't use the term friend loosely. And so I make sure that, we differentiate, but it's all love all the way around. But I was talking to an associate and I was talking about how, like, I caught myself saying, yeah, I saw that thing on TikTok. Oh, I saw that thing on TikTok. I saw that thing on TikTok. And he was like, you be on TikTok. And I'm like, you know what? Apparently that is something I need to keep an eye on, right? How much am I actually consuming? Because when you start to market your premium courses, you shift from consuming so much content to actually starting to create. Now, there's nothing wrong with a little research here and there, okay? Sometimes we have to consume to see what's currently trending. I'll talk about this a little more in a second. What's currently trending? What are people really paying attention to? And is it something that we can utilize in our current marketing? However, again, you are creating more than you are consuming always. And so I would encourage you, pro tip, set a timer for the times that you need to consume or do that market research. We always call it research, right? We're doing something, but we don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole. And so that's the pro tip, is that we shift, okay, from from consumer to a user. We use these tools now to reach the people that we really need to reach with our messages. And so I wanted to talk to you real quick. This came up for me earlier this week, just the other day. I actually went to visit some family members that I haven't seen in a while. And one of my cousins randomly asked, well, how'd you get off? Right. And she asked this to my sisters were there too. She's like, how'd y'all get off in the middle of the day? It was a random Wednesday. This was yesterday. Was this yesterday? Why are my days running together? This was yesterday. So Wednesday, it was like 2 p.m. She was like, how y'all get off in the middle of the day? Right. Like, what y'all been doing? And so it came so naturally to me. I hadn't really thought about it, but I'm like, oh, I don't really take off, right? In my mind, I'm like, I don't take off work. Like my business is running in the background. Like, it's not like nothing is happening, right? This is a testament to the system that I've built and the same system that you will build, okay, with your premium courses. If you have a business and you're looking to scale with premium courses, this is a perfect opportunity to do so. If you don't have a business, but you are looking to create a premium course, okay, it's a perfect opportunity to start creating a business around the course and not just a one-off course. Again, we are focused on, back to what I said at the top of this episode, sustainable impact, not one-off impact, not a quick band-aid, a quick fix solution. We're interested in sustainable longevity, the impact that is going to go deep, okay? So premium courses, you build a business around the course. So I started thinking about it and I was like, hold on. Like, I actually don't take off. I didn't say it out loud, but I started thinking about it and I was like, this is like a dream that I had that I am now living because my systems are still working on the back end. So the impact is still being made. The money is still being made. I'm still getting new leads and prospects for my business, regardless of what it is that I'm doing. Right. But these are things that I have employed in my business over the years. It has taken me some time, trial and error, learning, but now there are things that I get to teach. So going back to that concept of less consuming, okay, and more creating. A lot of times, especially as high performers and ambitious creators, all right, tell me if this is you inside of the chat. We get caught in this loop of constantly consuming or learning. And I talked to someone earlier today who was describing exactly that same thing. I've been there. I know what it is. All right. And sometimes I still like get there and I'm like, okay, girl, no, shift. Shift. You got to cut yourself. Okay, real quick, to shift into using social. All right. I appreciate the affirmations. I see y'all with the reactions inside of the chat. So I know this is hitting home. So I was talking to someone earlier today and she was telling me that she's like, you know how you sign up for things sometimes, but then like you're not actually doing the thing, you're just consuming the information. I'm like, yeah, I know. Okay. Also doctorate, PhD level, like, again, you don't have to have a doctorate. You can be a very high performing, ambitious individual, okay, just as it stands, whose gifts are going underutilized in wherever it is that you're operating, corporate job, your 9 to 5, whatever it is that you are doing. And you know it, right? You can feel it. There's a pull. And so there's that thing. We all do it where we sign up for something, we get the thing, whether it's a book, an ebook, a class, a master class, a webinar, but we never really, or a YouTube video, right? Like, all right, no shade, but we never really actually implement what it is that we are consuming. Does that make sense? So we want to do less of that and more creating. You know enough already as it stands to start creating your things of your own. Okay. You can create your own course. You can create your own ebook. You can create your own book. Now, I would recommend you start with premium courses. Pro tip, I'm always there. We redistribute the wealth, as I like to call it, inside of my program. So if you start with premium, you just have more space, resources, financial resources, number one. But number two, there's more of the freedom for you to like think creatively, right? When you're not scrambling, trying to figure everything else out, especially the financial piece. So then once you have buyers who are willing and able to pay the premium prices, I always talk about this pro tip, then you redistribute the wealth. So then you have the space and opportunity to create additional things like ebooks or books or, the things that you're not necessarily charging as much for. So you can continue to bring people in. Does that make sense? Perfect. I'm glad that's making sense. I see the reactions inside of the chat. Awesome. Okay. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I had this realization while we're talking and my sisters are talking and I'm just sitting there like, oh wow, this is like something that I dreamt about, prayed about, thought about for so long. And I'm actually living it like in this moment. Like we also need to take time to be grateful, express gratitude because there's something that you're living right now. I know you've heard it before. There's something you're living right now that you dreamt about, that you prayed about, that you asked God for, that you wanted, you desired, and it's a reality for you now. And we oftentimes we get so caught up in the day to day that we get comfortable where we are and we forget like we are actually living the answer prayer, right? Right now. We're living one of our dreams right now. And so I was like overwhelmed with gratitude in that moment that I built this business with systems that are running in the background for me. And it was awesome. So I enjoyed that. Okay. So this is what I want to talk about. This is what premium courses have done for me. I will forever talk about premium courses. I will forever teach premium courses and how to create them because they have been the fastest and easiest way that I have been able to achieve this freedom. And same for my clients and students and mentees as well. Okay. So most people get stuck in this trap of like trading time for money, 9 to 5, corporate, even people who have businesses. Some people are still charging, and no shade, right? If this is you, I want you to like self-check real quick. Are you still charging based on how much it costs or how much you value your hour of time at, right? The way, and I have a workshop. So what I'll do is you can come into 9 to Thrive because it would take too long for me to teach it here, but I have a workshop, 9 to Thrive. So it's jumpfirstacademy.org/9 to Thrive. Kat's going to drop it inside of the comments in a second. It's a 5-day training with me. You can come live and we'll talk through like, how do you really value and price your premium courses? Okay. Cause I can't talk all the way through it now, but think about how much an hour of your time is worth, right now as it stands. Are you pricing your products and services based on how long it took you to create something? Are you pricing your products and services, especially your courses, based on how much you think somebody is going to be willing to pay for them? Okay. We're not pricing based on time. All right. So I don't want you trading time for money. Like that would be going back to the corporate mindset, the 9 to 5 mindset. I had to get out of that. When I came out of corporate initially and I started charging for my courses, and at the time I had ebooks and I had mini courses, I had too much going on. I talked about this in a previous episode. You can go check it out on this channel. All right. After tonight. But I had too much going on. Like I was selling too many things. But I was still pricing based on like this mindset of, well, this was how much I was getting paid at my corporate job. This is how much I need to be bringing in order to cover my bills and continue moving forward if I'm going to make this worthwhile, because I quit my job with no safety net. I had no idea what I was going to do. I jumped for real. Okay, this is why I tell people, and it's been a succession of jumps since then. But I tell people all the time, Jump First is not just a brand, it is a lifestyle. And it's for that reason. Okay, there will always be a jump. So we're not trading time for money anymore. Instead of consuming, learning, preparing, and never creating, we're going to take the opportunity to start creating. Okay, like actually put your ideas out there into the world. You will never know, pro tip. You'll never know what the feedback is. You'll never be able to make something better, continue to elevate if you don't put your ideas out there and get the feedback that you need, okay, in order to make it better. The other thing that I want to highlight here, and of course I have my notes, right? I want to make sure I don't miss anything. The freedom is not coming from the freedom that you're looking for. It's not going to come from watching another YouTube video. I love that you're here, but the freedom you're looking for isn't going to come from that. It's not going to come from watching another masterclass or signing up for another late night webinar, right? You're scrolling in bed. It's not going to come from you writing your ideas in your notes app on your phone or in your journal, okay? It's going to come from you actually launching the thing, launching the product, launching the service, launching the post, okay, posting, creating whatever you are currently working on. That is what the freedom is going to come from. That's where it's at. Okay. It's in the creating of the thing. It's in the actual doing, not just ideation. So you have to get out of that stage of just ideation and thinking about your desires and ideas and start implementing, start creating. That is where the freedom is. If I never created this program or any of my programs, my courses, my business, I wouldn't have been able to appreciate and sit in gratitude yesterday about the fact that, like, yeah, I have systems running for me. It's amazing. And it's a very humble flex, but it's a flex. Okay. Okay. And I want so many more people to have that. Like, especially if it's something you've been thinking about. If you've been thinking about passive income, if you've been thinking about ways to, and I'll say this, like, income is never fully passive, right? Like, it's never, like, you got to do something to get to that point. So, I mean, that's the whole thing. So there's work required. And a lot of people hear passive income and they're trying to skip the steps. Right. I'm not gonna lie to you that and say that, oh, this just automatically came overnight. Like, no, there was a lot of trial and error for me, which is why I teach my courses the way I teach them, because I don't want you to go through the mistakes I made. Okay. I'm not saying you will not make a mistake. I'm not saying that you won't have to tweak something. Okay. But it's so much easier with, pro tip, a coach or a mentor to help you get it done. Somebody that can kind of see the whole field. So I'll always advocate for mentorship and coaching. I keep a coach and a mentor, at least one. All right. I have several, but I keep at least one. But that's what I want to put here, right? Is that you have to move forward. And when you have a coach or mentor, you can't think that it's just going to be smooth sailing for the entire rest of the time that you have this coach or mentor. You will have your own set of challenges. You will have your own set of things that happen that maybe you will make a misstep or a mistake, but it's easier to recover when you have someone who can see what's happening, and someone who probably has been, hopefully, you're hiring mentors and coaches who have been where you are, right? But there are those challenges that you'll face, even with mentorship and coaching, the mistakes that you'll make or missteps that will happen are a part of the journey. They're a part of the story. There have been many of times that I've had coaches and mentors advise me and tell me what I should do. And I was like, I'm gonna do this instead. And sometimes it works out. But other times it's like, oh girl, no, you weren't supposed to do that. But I learned from it either way, right? And I go back to my coach, and before I even do it, I'm telling them like, hey, I'm probably gonna do this. Like, I hear you. Now there have been times where, especially when it came to charging premium prices and starting this premium course business, I've had coaches tell me, you have to start with this offer, or you have to price this way first. And I decided to go against that, after a lot of prayer, after a lot of understanding, where I was in my journey and who I was, right? And whose I was, okay? But a lot of discernment about, like, hey, I've already done this part, right? And they don't know that. Like, my coaches didn't know that until I told them. So I told them, hey, I'm going to charge premium pricing. I'm not starting, where you want me to start. I've done that already in my business, made that mistake when I first started, because I was kind of on my own for a while, until probably about 6 months, until I hired a coach and mentor. And I was like, yeah, I'm trying to sustain my momentum and keep this momentum. But I had already had results, right? And I was already in a place where I was passionate about teaching. I had already been a professor. I had already been developing courses and programs, and not just for universities and colleges, but nonprofits and, other businesses. And so I was already doing this. I was already living my passion. I already knew what I wanted to do. And I was also tired of being in corporate and not being paid my worth. I was tired of being in corporate and feeling like, my gifts were underutilized and I wasn't being as great of service as I could be. And so I knew I left corporate to go into this venture to do more, to be more, to accomplish more, but also to, like, operate in my gifts fully and to be paid my worth, to be paid what I wanted to be paid. Now, getting started, I didn't really understand, that there was. It's just a different mindset. I can't say I didn't understand. I did understand it, but I wasn't there. There's a different mindset. There's a shedding that has to happen of this mindset, this program, right? Essentially, that's running about corporate, to be in corporate, to be in traditional education. There's a shift that happens when you step into full-time entrepreneurship and things start to open up. It's like, oh my God, like, this whole entire world is out here. They're printing money every day. And there are still people, I was one of those people for a long time, who were like, well, are you sure I should charge that? Right? Can I charge that? Are people going to be able to afford that? And you can create, let me put this here. When I talk about redistributing the wealth, it's not leaving anybody out. When you create a premium course, like, this is the mindset shift that happens. When you create a premium level course, you are helping people who have the means and ability to pay you that price point. But then you get to create other opportunities and things for people who maybe are not in a position to pay that price point yet. And I think both are okay. There is the highest level, right? Your premium programs that are reaching people who have the means and ability to pay, they are severely underserved. Severely underserved. So there's a huge gap in the market, okay, right now for people who want to learn from you, who want to understand what it is that you know, who want to get in the door, okay? And they're not necessarily they're not, how can I say? I want to say they're not beginners, but they are, right? So they're not like, it's not like they have no knowledge, no expertise, no experience. They do, just not in the field or industry that you are going to be teaching them in. So that whole entire group of people, severely underserved, waiting for a premium opportunity because that's where they want to invest. That's where they're most comfortable investing. So why wouldn't you create a program for them? Like, let's go. Okay. Start there and then create the other resources. All right. So I had to shift. Long story short, I had to shift from being a consumer of traditional means and wisdom. And I'm not saying there is no wisdom in tradition. Okay. Traditional means and opportunities. I'm saying there's a shift that happens when you are no longer subscribed to that program and you have a different mentality, a different means of achieving your desires, and you fully step into owning your desires. There's that piece too. Okay, that nobody really talks about. But you get to own your desires. You have to if you want to achieve them. Traditionally, I felt like for me and my experience, the reason I was consuming so much and what kind of kept me consuming so much was that there were people around me, especially in corporate traditional education, who were settling for the lives they were living. And I wasn't interested in that. Right? For a long time, I wasn't interested in that. Um, but it kept me kind of consuming, right? It kept me where I was. And eventually I got to this point. The only way that I can describe it is I got to this point where I felt like I was in a cage, like trying to break out. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like I felt bigger than the space I was occupying. So that kind of started me down the path of, well, why don't I start getting some of the ideas that I have in my head? I need to employ my creativity. I need to deploy my creativity, right? And that's when things started to open up for me. And so that's where the shift started to happen because I truly believe, pro tip, for anybody that is entrepreneurial, anybody who, if you have a side hustle, you just have ideas, you have desires that are countercultural, that go against the norm, that aren't the norm. And when I say the norm, I'm not just talking about like on a societal level. I'm not talking about on a national level, even against the norm that is your environment, that is your current community, that is your corporate environment, traditional education. And I'm not getting down on traditional education because I do think it's necessary in certain aspects. But I just believe in self education so much. I believe in the application of knowledge. I believe in wisdom. Okay. And that comes from application of knowledge. And so we have to start being able to apply what it is that we are learning. And so when you start getting ideas out of your head and you start implementing, you start creating, creativity takes over, right? So thank you, Kat. I appreciate you. So creativity starts to take over. And then as you are creating, more ideas can come in. But what was happening and why I felt like I was bigger than where I was, and not like in an egotistical way, but tell me if you resonate with this, especially as you're a high performer, ambitious, high achiever, right? I felt like I was outgrowing, outpacing my current environment. And I'm talking corporate America specifically. And so I just felt in traditional education, right? And so I just felt like I needed to do something. And that's where creativity started to come from. And that's what was the shift for me from like, okay, I'm not consuming so much of everybody else's thoughts and opinions and art, which is great. But now I get to create my own, right? And that caused me to start to create my own lane, which is where CYOC Create Your Own Course came from, which is my flagship program. And that's where everything started to take off. And so I'm so grateful for that journey, and I hope that inspires somebody forward. So, the systems that run in the background when you create your premium courses, because I want to highlight that. I've been talking about that, right? This epiphanic moment that I had visiting with my family members, and kind of going, I'm grateful for the systems that I built. There are systems that can run in the background of your premium course business, but you shouldn't start there. Okay. You should start with the active income. You should start with understanding the different nuances and things that need to be done in your course business. This is what makes it unique to you. And then once you have a good grasp on that, you'll start to understand what systems are necessary for your course business. Every course business is not the same. And this is why I teach the way that I teach. Your premium course business should be unique to you. It should flow in a way that makes sense to you, follows your passion, ignites your passion daily. Okay, because that's important. People feel energy. So you want to make sure that the people that are attracted to your program are, number one, the right students flowing in and they match the program, but also that you're enjoying the process. Because if you start burning out, that's why you should definitely teach something you know a lot about and are passionate about. Pro tip: both. We got to join them together. I talk about this a lot. You can catch the explanation and deep dive in another episode on this channel. But it's one of those things like you don't want to burn out from, right? You want to enjoy this process. And so you should know how this process works before you start putting things on autopilot. Autopilot is another word for systems that are running in the background. Again, your systems will depend on how your business is formulated. The foundation is necessary first, though, before you can implement any systems. Most people want to skip over the active part and get straight to the passive part. And it's like, well, wait a minute. You got to understand the active part first, or else you can't create the passive part. Yeah, everything will become crumbling down if you try to implement systems from the very beginning. Like, understand how this works. Even in teaching your course, you should be teaching your course at least 1 to 2 times live, actively showing up before you start hosting it and putting it on autopilot. This is why you don't need a hosting platform to start. Again, we'll go deeper in all of these concepts inside 9 to Thrive. So it's jumpfirstacademy.org/9 to Thrive. Kat already dropped it inside of the comments and it's in the description. Okay. Premium pricing. So the other thing that makes this work, essentially, this process of like, okay, my business is running while I'm chilling, right? It's the systems in the background. It's also premium pricing. That's very important. Your premium prices, again, fund your impact. They also fund your ability to go chill and enjoy yourself. Okay. It's this like not having the means and the ability financially, it locks your brain up. Like literally, it locks your mind up. I will say the creativity up. And this is my experience. I'm speaking from like, period. Okay. But I know this to be true, even with the clients and students and mentees that I've worked with. It locks you up, it freezes you. How can you think and be creative and create when you're constantly thinking about, okay, how am I going to do the next thing? How am I going to get to the next? How am I going to pay this bill or that bill? Right. Or how am I going to get to the next thing? So, premium prices, when you charge prices that value your expertise, your experience, it feels freer. And you also have more of that time to be able to spend how you want to spend it. Okay. So we're talking, when we talk premium prices, 5K to 20K for your first course. And if that sounds outrageous, okay, or it sounds like, what? I need you to jump into the 9 to Thrive movement. Jumpfirstacademy.org/9 to Thrive. Shameless plug always, because I know it works. All right. And then the third thing that you need is an offer that converts. So you need to be able to package it up, not just charge a premium price, but the value inside of your program should be premium as well. Okay. And then the identity shift that is required is you go from student, constantly learning, constantly consuming, to authority. Now you're creating. Now you're in flow. All right. So those are the 4 things that I would highlight that make that possible for you to like be out living your life, chilling, enjoying your free time while your systems run in the background. Okay. So systems, you got to have the right ones based on your course business and what you're currently teaching in your flow. Number 2, premium pricing. And then number 3, offers that convert. Okay. So you need to package it in the right way. And then number 4, the identity shift from student to authority. That's it. That's literally it. One premium offer, not 10 things. Okay, not 10 tools, not a whole bunch of when you think, again, systems running in the background, you don't need a whole bunch of that in order to start. You don't need that first. You build it, you launch it, and then you refine it. We've talked about all of this, so I want to recap real quick. You stop waiting for it to be perfect, and you start with profitable, right? So again, start with premium buyers first. That's important. And then the framework inside that you're going to get, I can't teach it here and now because it would take me too long to do that. I want you to come into 9 to Thrive, okay? The investment is minimal compared to the value that you're getting, all right? It's all premium value. It's $97 for general admission, $297 for VIP. I'm going to tell you, VIP is where it's at. You get access to me basically for half of that day, okay? So you get 2 VIP sessions. We call them pre-game sessions and post-game sessions. You get the general admission training, you get templates, you get guides, and you get my feedback, okay, inside those VIP rooms. And so I would encourage you to come into VIP. Again, for the price point, the value is maxed, okay? The value is maxed. So you want to come in. jumpfirstacademy.org/9 to Thrive. I appreciate you. Thank you, Kat. All right. So the last thing that I want to highlight. So we just recapped, right? So again, one offer, make it premium, not 10 things. Also start with active, not passive income and revenue, like you need to be generating first, and you need to understand how things work. So you build it out, then you launch it, and then you refine it. That refining process is where we start with systems, okay? We start putting things on autopilot. That's the fun part too. And that's the part where you get to be grateful for what it is that you've built and the fact that you built the foundation right in the first place so that you can grow it and scale it. And then you go ahead and just go. You start creating. That's the other thing I want to highlight here. Start creating. Stop consuming. Stop watching a whole bunch of stuff, okay? Consuming a whole bunch of content, putting other people's ideas and thoughts in your head. You have enough. You know enough to teach it. You just need the right strategy. That's it. And you got to pick. That's another thing that I want to highlight here. You just have to choose. Once you make a decision, you line up with the decision and you move forward. You will never know if it's the right decision until you move. That's it. I gotta put that here again. You will never know if you made the right decision until you make it. You got to make a decision. All right. Make the decision, move forward. And that's just it. All right. If you want additional assistance and you're like, I don't want to go through 9 to Thrive, excuse me, I would like your direct guidance. Book a strategy session. I'm going to tell you this, strategy sessions are only free. They are complimentary currently this week. After July 1st, beginning on July 1st, there will be a charge for strategy sessions. I'm like, I give so much free content, so much valuable content, even in these sessions. My strategy sessions, I give a lot of value, okay? Lots of ideas and things that are happening in those sessions to help move you forward. You can jump into a complimentary strategy session now by going to jumpfirstacademy.org/apply. Again, jumpfirstacademy.org/apply. The sessions are complimentary through June 30th. Okay, so July 1st. So if you schedule anything prior to July 1st, is complimentary, is free. After July 1st, on July 1st, okay, effective July 1st, there will be a charge for strategy sessions. As it currently stands, it'll be $297. I anticipate that going up. All right. So here is to your freedom. I appreciate you being in the arena with me tonight. I don't see any questions. I appreciate you being here, whether it was your first time, okay, or your next time. Know that I appreciate you so much. Welcome back. If you're returning, if it's your first time, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like button, bell notification so you know when new episodes like this drop. We are live in the arena every Tuesday night and Thursday night, okay, at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all so much. Next week, we are doing more teaching, okay, master classes. Let me know what it is that you would like to learn about or know about. You can feel free, if you're watching the replay, to go ahead and drop it inside of the chat, inside of the comments. What topics regarding premium courses or scaling your business, or do you have other questions, lifestyle questions, all of those things? Drop it in the chat. It gives me more ideas about what I can have on here and really truly bring additional value to you who are watching, okay? I appreciate you so much. I'm sending you much love. Again, thank you for being in the arena with me. Know that it's not always comfortable. It requires visibility. It requires vulnerability, but you are here, you are growing, and we are scaling together. All right, I love you so much. Have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you back here next week. Bye, y'all.